Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero. Our guest today is an absolute juggernaut of music production. He is Dave Aude. He's a rare example of when technical prowess meets a tremendous gift of an ear developed over years of dedication to rocking a crowd and allows for complete expression. He's a songwriter and a producer, but he's truly made his bones taking the compositions of some of, maybe even most of, the most relevant artists and reconstructing them to crush the dance floor. He's got 133 Billboard #1 dance tracks, far more than anyone else, and that number will probably be obsolete by the time you hear this episode. We're talking about artists to include U2, Coldplay, Madonna, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Ariana Grande, Mark Ronson, Bruno Mars, Erasure, One Republic, Rihanna, Jennifer Lopez, Selena Gomez, Chris Brown, Kelly Clarkson, Britney Spears, the Pussycat Dolls, Beyonce, Donna Summer, Korn. Man, who's got time? Anyway, he's collaborated with Sting before, and he's got 6 tracks on Sting's new album. He's also a devoted dad and a great dude, and he's our guest today. He's Dave Aude.
Lions Rock Productions.
This is Jay Moore.
This is Greg Proops.
This is Jordan Harbinger.
This is Dexter from The Offspring.
This is Nathan
This
East.
is Sebastian Younger.
This is Rick Marotta.
This is Stuart Copeland. This is Mick Gillette.
This is Andy Summers.
Hey, this is Skunk Baxter.
This is Gabby Reese.
This is Rob Bell.
Hey, this is John Leon Guerrero.
Hey, and this is Pete A. Turner.
What's up? It's Dave Aude, and you're listening to the Break It Down Show.
And now, the Break It Down Show with John Leon Guerrero and Pete A. Turner.
Yes, indeed. Dave Aude is a songwriter, a producer, and I'll proclaim it here, the world's greatest remixer. I guess I'm not the only one who thinks so, though. Dave has, last count I saw was 133 #1 songs on the Billboard Dance Club Songs chart, and that's more than anyone else, and you seem to keep racking them up like a gas pump. His new collaboration is with Sting. He produced 6 songs on Sting's new album called My Songs, and they're updates of Sting's classics for 2020. Dave, we're big fans. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Is that 133 number accurate, or have you done something in the last couple of weeks to make it even higher?
Oh, that's funny. No, that's. I think right now that's where we're at. I mean, I'm still doing a lot of remixing, a lot of producing, a lot of songwriting, but I mean, 10 years ago, I think I was really knocking out a lot of remixes. And I think in 2009, 2010, each one of those years, I had 18 or 19 #1s each year. So, which is a lot, but it's 133 is pretty good. I'm not really, I've never tried to get to that number, period. So the fact that I'm there is, kind of crazy.
So just so our listeners can have some context.
Right.
I'd like to rewind because your remixing career has. We started to make a list of all the artists you've worked with, and then Pete figured that it'd be easier to make a list of the artists you haven't worked with, and we really just made a list of dead people.
That's hilarious. If we made a list, it's funny because a lot of times I will tell people what I haven't remixed. Rather than what I have remixed, because it's actually kind of easier. Like Whitney Houston,
right.
I never did a Whitney Houston song,
right?
And
Prince.
Didn't see Frank Sinatra.
I haven't done a Prince song. Frank Sinatra, yeah. So Elvis, I haven't done an Elvis song.
However, Tammy Wynette.
No. That's not true.
Is that not yours?
I did Tammy Wynette.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Also dead, but you did do it. So that's not even true that dead people are immune.
No, I have worked on some dead people. And I've also worked on some people that might seem dead, even though they're actually living.
I heard a Fleetwood Mac remix.
That's so funny because Tammy Wynette's estate reached out to me. That was pretty incredible. Because it was obviously a huge song. The Fleetwood Mac thing you just mentioned, crazy enough, I don't even think that came out. Somehow that got sent to the label, which at the time probably still is. It's Warner Brothers, and somebody at the label leaked the song.
Oh,
huh?
That never even came out.
Wow. So were you ever actually hired by Warner Brothers? Or did you do that one on spec?
No, I actually did that. I got paid to do it. They were doing this album of remixes. This is like probably 14 years ago, 15 years ago. So not recently. I forgot the guy's name, but he was doing, he was taking all these, he was getting Warner's to give him all these old multis on all these classic songs. And Fleetwood Mac was one of them. And I just don't think the band wanted to put anything out. This is like before remixing was like sort of like a thing. And this guy was kind of ahead of the curve, getting the multis and trying to make all this crazy remixes happen. And I don't think the band was into it, or I don't even know, but it never came out. But somebody at the label liked it, so they leaked. I'm not sure if it was even mixed or not, but it got leaked. And I get asked people this. I get a lot of crazy fans that ask me to send them, wave files. I don't know why I have all these fans that want wave files. It's this weird thing going on.
Hey, I want to figure out, because your musical ideas are incredible. You talk about taking the great things that are in a song when you remix it and then just kind of putting your own things in there. How do you fill your well? Because there's just so much stuff out there, and it's so varied in how you do it. And I mean, from Rihanna to Celine Dion, you're just doing slightly different things all the time. Where does that come from?
Honestly, I don't know. I've just been doing this. I've been kind of making music so long, and especially the remix thing, which, my career was sort of born with remixing. Like remixing kind of got big as my career sort of started. So it just happens that I was there when that sort of was born.
Well, let's unpack that a little bit, though. Where were you born?
Where was I born? I was born in Van Nuys, California.
Van Nuys. So you grew, and did you spend your formative years in the Los Angeles area?
I spent my entire life in LA until 1 year ago.
Wow. So the thing about growing up in LA for our listeners elsewhere is I grew up in the Bay Area, but spent a lot of time in LA, summers in LA, and in LA you hear everything. Yeah. So you can point to a number of musical influence. So that begs the question, how did you come up musically? What were you listening to? What were your peers listening to? Do you have older cousins who were from Long Beach, or what? How did that all evolve?
That's some weird stuff you came up with there. I love that. All the cousins from Long Beach. When I was a kid, I think like a lot of kids my age was listening to the radio. I had a little radio at the dinner table. And this is the crazy thing is I used to just literally, it would be so low in level that I just put my ear next to the speaker. This is like before headphones or anything really. It's like it was a little transistor radio thing just at the end of the table. And I would just sit there and listen to Rick D's Countdown, which is, I know it's crazy to mention Rick D's, but I just remember it was, and I became good. Funny enough, I became very good friends with Rick D's in later years through his son, Kevin D's.
Awesome.
So it's kind of cool. I've had a few full circle moments in my life. That's one of them. Working with Olivia Newton-John's another one of them. Working on John Lennon stuff's another one of those full circle things. My favorite band growing up was a band called Erasure.
Sure.
All right.
About 9 years ago, I started working with Andy Bell, the lead singer of Erasure.
They played at the Wiltern this past year, and man, those guys are packed with songs. I was actually texting John when we were at the show, and I'm like, if I told you that Erasure had 10 albums, would it surprise you? And he's like, fuck yeah, it surprised me. Like, they've got over 15.
Yeah, they got more than that. I was going to say.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of albums. They've been going forever. And, Vince Clarke, Andy Bell is the voice of Erasure. So, he's, phenomenal. But really, Vince Clarke, for a kid, for a keyboard player, for a synthesizer player growing up in the San Fernando Valley, meeting Vince Clarke and listening to Vince Clarke was huge because of, obviously Depeche Mode and Yaz,
right,
and Erasure. So he was a big influence on me for sure.
Wow. Now, a lot of our listeners are going to be uninitiated to the nuances of the remix world, and I want to just get everybody to take a listen. Go to YouTube and look up Dave Aude and don't just listen to the remixes, but maybe go to, I think you did a webinar for somebody that was really interesting. And for our audiophiles in the audience, go check that out because it really gave you a chance to deconstruct your process. And for everybody who's not familiar with the nuances of what it takes to do a remix, you really explained it wonderfully in this webinar. And I think that in order to break it down for people who are not familiar with sitting behind the console, it's really taking somebody's songs, pulling them completely apart, and then rebuilding them in a way that has a purpose. And in your case, that purpose a lot of times is to put and move butts on the dance floor. So let's talk about what you did with Sting. You did 6 songs on Sting's new album.
So
did 6 songs on Sting's new album.
I know, it's like a dream come true. It's kind of like I'm living some weird reality thing.
Yeah, wow.
I met Sting through remixing. I remixed a song for him in 2003. I remixed Send Your Love, which was off his Sacred Love album.
Right.
At the time, the guy who was A&Ring everything was Martin Kierszenbaum, who's now managing me. And Martin loved the remix so much, and Sting loved the remix so much, they added it onto the end of the Sacred Love album. So that was the first time I had been remixing then for about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years. And to have one of my remixes get put on an album, that was pretty cool. And then he was doing my version live in his live show.
That's fantastic.
And that was 2003-ish, somewhere around there. And that was when I first met Sting. So I've obviously anybody who's followed Sting's career over the past, 15, 16 years knows kind of what he's been doing or what he hasn't been doing. And he sort of really decided a couple years ago, 3 years ago, to get back into pop music. Here we are with the new album. December of last year, they called me and said Sting's going to be playing in Times Square on New Year's Eve on TV, on the Steve Harvey show, New Year's Eve thing. And he wants to sing Brand New Day, but he needs a new version of it. So that was kind of how this whole My Songs thing started, is I redid that song.
In December. So no pressure.
Nope. Well, I had
just
about
redo
2
a
weeks.
Sting song.
I had about 2 weeks to do it. They sent me all the original stems and
native tracks. Yeah.
I just sort of, I didn't. There's different ways to remix things. I didn't just want to, kill the song. I wanted just to sort of take it into 2019. Sting loved it, and he performed it on TV, and it worked out really well, even though it was playing pouring rain when he performed it on TV.
That's the best time to perform, though, right? That's like the great Prince
it
story.
Looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing Purple Rain in the rain at the Super Bowl. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. He looked totally cool. I mean, he's Sting, by the way. Sting could pretty much do anything.
Yeah.
He's going to look cool.
How do you know what brings something into 2019, though? I mean, how do you keep your ear fresh? Because there is a sense to it. We just got back from Bottle Rock. We did some work there. And you hear the bands that play older stuff or new bands that play other people. Like it was one band that they sounded like a really good cover band that played original music. They sounded like everybody else. You're not doing that, though. You're getting to a different spot, and you're able to clearly keep your finger on the pulse. Where does that come from?
Probably from DJing. I've been DJing for 25 years.
Yeah,
I'm still playing about 12 shows a year. Not a lot. The city of Nashville found out I'm here, so now I'm playing like every Nashville. I played New Year's Eve. It was like me. I was DJing, and it was Peter Frampton and Keith Urban down in front of City Hall downtown. July 4th, I'm playing down on the river with the fireworks going off, and there's like 3 or 4 bands playing. So. But just DJing for 25 years and remixing, both sort of in together, has really just helped me sort of keep my ear to the ground.
The thing about DJing is you cannot deny what works. And so when something is happening, you know that it's happening, and to Pete's point, what keeps your ear fresh and your finger on the pulse Well, you have to make the butts move. And when you see the butts move, you know it's working.
I've cleared many floors.
Well, that's what it takes.
So that's really the short answer is I've cleared enough floors to know that certain things
It's not that. Yeah.
and certain things don't work. You know, my I just want to get the girls on the dance floor. That's my sole goal starting out. And I guess it's turned into I want my wife to dance, I guess.
Have fun, yeah.
I mean, there's three things that the DJ does that make them successful, and that is that the bar gets to sell drinks, the girls get to sing along and dance, and the guys get to take the girls home.
Yeah.
And if you can help those three things happen, there's nothing more that gets your finger on the pulse. And so now you can take that and translate it into somebody's remix and bring it to today. How true is that?
Yeah, it's true, man. I fell in love with club culture years ago, and that's kind of what really got me into club culture. Really got me into the music business. I didn't know what I was going to do before club culture. I thought I was going to be a keyboard player in Journey or something. The clubs was a way for me to sort of get into the music business, a way in, and I'm very lucky to still be doing it.
I want to go back a little further into your formative years, because obviously your brother played professional baseball. That means you guys were throwing the ball back and forth as hard as you can at each other. But you're a keyboard player.
Yeah.
Was it always that you were going to be the musician, or did his talent just I don't know, how did that work out? Because you guys are both elite performers in your professions, but your professions are dramatically different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he could probably guess. I mean, I was the kid playing the synthesizers in the bedroom and performing at school and doing concerts. And when I was in high school, I was playing the Roxy and Whiskey on Sunset Boulevard. So, it was pretty cool. I mean, I wasn't having success, but I was playing these venues. My parents thought it was funny and, cool. But then all of a sudden, my little brother, who's 2 years younger than me, gets into the end of his senior year in high school, gets drafted second round of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
And so then everything basically, went from Dave to my brother Rich. And then that lasted for about a decade because my parents, look, DJing, remixing, producing, it's not really something most parents
can get into,
understand.
Yeah, that's not a comfortable path for a parent.
Yeah, it's not something that they just can explain to their friends and their friends are going to understand. But they say, hey, my son's a baseball player. That's pretty easy to understand. And he hit a home run at Dodger Stadium, his first home run against the Dodgers, which also is pretty cool.
And and easy to understand. It is easy to explain. My son plays for the Pirates.
Yeah, it's very American. But my son, playing a Roland JX 3-piece synthesizer doesn't really translate as well, does it?
No, not so much. My son hit a home run versus, my son got a new plug-in endorsement deal.
Yeah, exactly.
A little different.
My parents, look, I don't even know if my parents really fully grasp what I do still. It's just a generation thing,
Sure.
They know I have a Grammy, so I think they probably tell everybody I have a Grammy.
That sort of legitimizes you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something, again, it's something that they can say to their friends that their friends are going to go, oh, I've heard of that. I know what a Grammy is. I mean, everybody also thinks there's 10 old guys with beards that sit around a table to decide who gets Grammys. So, but at least it's something that tangible that they can tell their friends.
So if a Grammy legitimizes you in front of your parents' friends,
yeah.
What did it do for you in your actual career from a day-to-day basis? Did it make the phone ring more, or was your phone ringing to capacity already anyway?
It might have made it ring less, maybe. I don't know. No, because look, winning a Grammy is awesome.
You're not underground anymore.
No, exactly. I'm not. And I also won for a song that was not underground. It was the most popular song in the last decade, Uptown Funk.
Yeah. I mean, it won Song of the Year, but it was definitely the Song of the Year, not in quotation marks, because everywhere you went, it was playing.
Everywhere.
Yeah. And so I won a Grammy for a song that was like ridiculously huge. And I'd also done a million remixes. So you put those two things together and there's the Grammy for best remix recording.
Yeah.
I don't know if my phone rang more. I just think when people hired me that they knew that they were hiring somebody that was for sure going to give them something of quality, I think.
So does that mean the price goes up?
Honestly, the price, I don't think
that happens.
I mean, I guess I think I thought that was going to happen. I can honestly say I think the price just is what it is. I don't think it's gone up. It's just it's just maybe I'm taking less projects. I mean, and not taking every project now and thinking about it more. I don't know. I just love producing records, regardless of how big the artist is, how small the artist is, how big the song is, how small the song is. I worked on some bad songs. I worked on some great songs. I just love what I do, and I love waking up every day and doing it. And I'm not bored of it yet. I love remixing, but I love producing. I'm really excited that I'm making this pivot in my career. I've remixed everybody. So, but that's not why I'm pivoting. I've always been a producer. Remixing is producing.
Yeah.
And it's very important people understand. The only difference is when you're remixing, you're kind of a starting point. Or as opposed to producing, sometimes you're producing, or a lot of times you're producing from the beginning, from the ground up.
Let me ask you a little bit about your work process then too, because this is interesting to me. You've got these projects. There's likely several projects on your desk at one time, and I was listening to you talk on another interview. Do you sit down and just hammer away at one song for 15 hours straight, or do you? Because you seem like a work-life balance guy, but you got kids, So how do you stay on task, but also, and then the secondary question I want you to answer is, when you get music from somebody, whether it's Sting or Fergie, do you go, holy shit, I really got to get this right? I mean, obviously you always do a great job, but do you feel pressure from any particular artist because of not being starstruck, but just, it's fucking Sting.
I said the same thing to my wife. It's fucking Sting. I know. I've asked this same question so many times, and everybody wants me to give them like this crazy methodical like solution that they can input into their daily life so they can have success. And I think part of the success is not thinking about it too much for me. And I don't think that's super deep or anything, but I take lots of breaks during the day. And there's lots of short breaks. I jump up and I go see what my kids are doing, or I, get something to drink. I'm not sitting here for 18 hours. I did that in the early part of my career. And I'm sure anybody who makes music probably remembers the first 10 years of your career, you're like literally sitting in a dark room, just jamming away over and over nonstop. Your ears are bleeding when you go into bed every night. And I did that for a long time back when, you were using an analog desk and you were using, Akai samplers to load all your vocals into, and you can, which means you were working on one song a day or one song a week, right? So the process for me is so incredible now that I can work on, 15 songs in one day if I want to. And that's really helped me. And I love that I'm able to bounce off different things. I'll work on one thing for a few minutes or 10 minutes, or if I'm feeling it, an hour or two, and then I'll jump on something else. For me, my mind's all over the place all the time. My wife kind of hates it because middle of a conversation, I'll just talk about something totally different. But I explained to her, it's the creative for me, it's my creative mind just working, being able to just sort of just go somewhere totally different. So look, technology has helped me work on 1 million projects in one day. That's what I do. I go throw the baseball outside with my kids for a few minutes, come back in, work. And that's also one of the great parts about having a studio at home. It's also the bad part about having a studio at home is, as you guys saw at the beginning of the interview, my kids ran in and, were trying to talk to me as they're, walking out the door. So yeah. I don't know if you guys know, I moved to Nashville a year ago. So I'm talking to you from Nashville right now. I
Yeah.
kept my studio in LA, so I'm there 1 week a month. And by the way, in that week a month, I'm in the studio at my house in LA from 8 in the morning till midnight for about 5 or 6 days straight. So I do that. I go back to that old mentality of just jamming for the entire day.
That's not bad. I'm curious, though, because, like you said, technology changes things. It allows you to be all over the place. I remember the days when you had to load floppy disks into your MPC 60, so it kept you kind of focused on a song because you couldn't put it down and just pick it right back up. So there was something to that in the process. But now that you're able to multitask and you can be all over the place, it seems to be working for you. But in the process of producing for an artist, when you produce from the beginning, you're able to maybe wring more out of a performance from an artist and shape that process a little bit. On the flip side, if you're doing a remix, you don't have that artist chirping in your ear, and you really get to do what you do in that part of the process, sort of independent. Are you saying that you don't prefer that anymore and you want to go back to collaborating with an artist in the booth?
Oh, I do lots of collaborating. I just did I'll go back to remixing. I just did a remix for Sarah Bareilles, a song called Fire off her new album.
Which is great.
Yeah.
And then the remix is better than the original song.
Well, come on. T-Bone Burnett produced the original. It's not bad. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's different.
It's a great song.
I would never say it's better. I would always just say it's different. Never. I would never say something what I do is better than the original. It's just a different interpretation. I did mine, but you should have heard the first remix. See, that was the remix you guys have heard. It was the second remix I did for her.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I did, in some ways, is better than the one that actually came out, but it was a big disco anthem kind of thing, and she really wasn't feeling it. She wanted to stay truer to the original. So, I still do have to make sure the artists are happy with what I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing it for the artist.
Yeah. Well, I will say that, T-Bone's version is great. It's a great song.
Yeah.
But I've probably pushed the play button on the remix more than I've pushed the play button on the original song.
Man, thanks. It's funny that remix sort of turned out kind of like the first remix that I ever heard that really resonated with me, by Todd Terry for Everything But the Girl, a song called Missing.
Oh, yeah. That was terrific.
Which for me was like...
Yeah, wow.
For me was the first popular remix. Like that was the first... A lot of people don't even know that's a remix. They think that's the original version. It's not the original version. It's the remix, the one that got played on the radio.
Yeah.
And it was Todd Terry doing a club remix. He didn't change a lot. Just kind of like I did on the Sarah Bareilles. I mean, I changed a lot, but it sounds like the original song. And that's kind of what Todd Terry did with Everything But the Girl Missing. I think that was like 93 or something.
Huh.
Well, yeah.
Boy,
that
that's
song
the peak
was,
of that band right there, too.
That remix just took...
Such a great band.
They were a great band to begin with, and the remix just basically introduced a lot of other people to the band who became fans immediately because of that.
That's a great thing about remixes.
Well, this is why people like Sting redo their music, or U2 or whoever it is, bands that are long established, is to take and freshen, really truly for a new audience.
There's many reasons. Most of the time people want, club mixes for people to dance to in the clubs. Sometimes Sting just wants a new version because look, if you listen to out of the 6 songs on the new album, the one that I asked to remix, he asked me to do 5. And I said, I really love If You Love Somebody, Set Them Free. Can I work on that? So he wasn't planning on even actually putting that on the new album. And they got me parts on that. If you guys have listened to it, I totally flipped it. It's the new single. It's the one he's performing everywhere right now, on all the TV shows and stuff. I just did what I do, which is I just kind of did what I was feeling. Like the original bass that's on the original song is on the new version. It's the same bass. Yes. Sting didn't play it. It was
Daryl Jones.
It was.
Yeah.
it was meant to be a disco song, I think. And it's funny, it's just the same. If you listen to both versions, you wouldn't think it's the same bass. You would think somebody played the bass on my disco version for the disco version, but
I absolutely was going to ask you about that. I'm glad you brought it up
exactly
because I'm like, is that the same?
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
I thought Sting played it, and I was like, hey, tell Sting that his bass on Set Them Free was awesome. And they're like, no, he didn't play it. It wasn't him. He just he goes, oh, he just remembered it wasn't him.
Yeah.
And if you watch the video, I think it's the video, you can see he wasn't playing the bass either. So
Yeah, Daryl Jones is in that video.
Yeah.
Your thing, though, when you remix, the first thing you do is reconstruct the drums.
yeah, usually, I mean, who doesn't? I mean, I don't know how you don't do that. It's about, drums and sort of a kind of arranging, I think. I kind of figure out what I want to do on the arrangement. And then I just start filling in stuff. I think obviously after I do drums, I do bass. That makes sense, right?
Okay.
And then everything else is just sort of filling in on top
But
of
I
that.
dig that you made the choice to leave the bass alone on that song.
Oh my God. You're kidding me. I mean, look, I whenever I do any kind of redo or, reproduce or remix, whatever, I always try and include stuff that I think's cool from the original. I mean, when I remixed U2 stuff.
This episode of the Break It Down Show is brought to you by Lions Rock Productions.
That's us.
We publish, evaluate, and develop podcasts just like this one, consult others to build their own, and create associated content and content marketing strategies.
So if you're launching or expanding your social media presence, your business or your personal brand, or if you just want to take your media presence to the next level,
Reach out to us on Twitter
at Pete A. Turner,
or at JohnLG69.
at The Break It Down Show.
There's 1,000 ways to get a hold of us.
Now enjoy the show.
Stuff that I think's cool from the original. I mean, when I remixed U2 stuff, I think I only did one. Did I do one song for you? Yeah, I kept everything.
Magnificent.
I kept the drum fills. I kept the bass in there, the guitars, because that's U2.
Yeah.
That was when I did that remix. I think I was really like, oh my God, this is U2.
Please let me not fuck this up.
Well, yeah. I can't just mute everything and keep Bono's vocal, which is probably what most remixers would have done. And I'm saying most, like 99%, would have just killed all the music and kept Sting's vocal. Bono's vocal, Bono Sting.
But that's
It's
not
a
you too, though,
package.
right? They come as a package deal.
I mean,
those guys sort the songs out.
It's not
in the
like,
studio.
look, some bands, it's like there's one person in the band that's great, and the rest other guys are like just in the band. U2 for me is about 4 dudes that all are equally great. So that's what I was thinking when I did the remix.
Hey, talk a little bit about Sting's voice at this point in his career, because that's another thing that stands out in these remixes. Did he sing to your track, or did you already have?
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
Except on 2 songs, which I use the original. Set Them Free. That's the original vocal. Brand New Day, original vocal.
Wow.
But
So
I think Sting's vocal sounds better now than it did
so
in the
good.
day. And I'll tell you a crazy story. This is the best Sting vocal story ever. I was working on Brand New Day. I heard some vocals, and I heard some weird vocals, and I thought it was headphone bleed. And I'm like, that's just the weirdest thing. It's like weird harmonies that I'm like, are there harmonies I'm missing? Like, are there background tracks that he didn't use in the original that were like in his headphones? And I called Martin and I go, man, it was probably like 11 p.m. at night here or something, and I'm like, man, I feel like I'm tripping out. Like I just ate some mushrooms or dropped acid or something. I don't know. I'm really tripping out because I'm hearing some weird things. I don't know what to do. Can you help me here? And he said, man, they always say when Sting sings, he has a little man singing with him. And what that means is he has nodules on his vocal cords, and they create like harmonics when he's singing.
That's freaky.
Wow.
It's not like a straight harmony. So in other words, if he sings a part, it's not going to sing like an automatic third.
Yeah.
The nodules are actually just doing their own note. So it could be, it's not an exact harmony,
Just
but it's
some
just,
vibration.
it's another like harmony you would have never ever done in a million years, because it's like, depending on how he's singing, and it really freaked me out, man. But it was awesome. I'm like, dude, it just made me go, man, Sting is even more awesome than I thought he was to begin with. So it's just cool. Just a cool moment.
That is cool. And I appreciate that story because, man, I've, been listening to Sting a lot all of my life, and I've never heard that story. But I can totally relate to, the finding some uniqueness in his voice. And there's nobody better placed to do that than a producer / remixer who's got headphones on and is really digging deep into that vocal.
He's look, he's crazy. Sting. So we did the brand new day and New Year's Eve, and then like the first week of January, second week, I don't know. He goes, "Let's do this. Let's do an album. I want to update all my songs." I don't know if you guys know this. He was in a play. He was doing a play. He was literally February, March, April. He was doing a play in Toronto,
Right.
And every night, I think it's a 3-hour play or something. So he would get to the venue, and they'd go through hair and makeup, and then he'd go backstage. The play would start. He'd do a couple scenes, and then he'd have like a little break. So he'd come backstage in makeup and hair, and he'd throw his bass on and turn the mic on, and he was singing vocals.
What?
Yeah, I have pictures of him doing this. They were sending me pictures. He was recording vocals for this album in between scenes. Not like after the play, go to the studio and record some stuff. Like no, let's just turn the mic on. Give me a mic back here. Give me an engineer. And so the hit record, and let me just do it in between scenes. Well, there's a couple thousand, 1,500 people, whatever, outside the audience, waiting for him to come back out and do another scene. Backstage recording vocals and playing bass.
Wow.
Sending it to me.
That's like Roy Jones Jr. defending his fighter's championship and then going out and playing a professional basketball game afterwards.
Like, he's a machine. I mean, and he's, I don't have to tell you guys, everybody knows Sting's in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
He doesn't age, or he hasn't aged in a couple decades. He sings great. He's performing. And by the way, does he have to perform?
He doesn't have to do anything.
No. But guess what? He's been on tour for like 3 years, I think, straight.
Wow.
Yeah. He's a monster.
Yeah.
And I'm just very lucky to be involved in the project.
You seem like you're pretty even keeled. You're like, holy shit, that's Sting, or holy shit, that's U2, that kind of thing. And I get all that, but you don't seem to get super stoked or very low. I mean, you win a Grammy. Like, yeah, I've got a Grammy. It's like not that big of a deal. Is there anything that really like makes you want to throw your fist in the air? Like,
no.
Maybe it's your kids. I don't know.
No. What do I get excited about, you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah, like when you get, like, I don't know, like, do you pull the segment of the song together and just get up and like celebrate for a second, or are you just not a super?
Oh my
peaky
God,
kind
I think
of guy?
I'm a peaky guy. I maybe I'm getting old. I don't know. No, I mean, I just I don't know. I think I get excited all the time, but it's just I have so many things I'm working on. It's kind of it's kind of hard. People don't realize. I'm not just working on a song a week or even a song a day. I'm working on so many things, and I think it makes it kind of harder to sort of go crazy. I do get excited about things. Recently I've written a couple songs I'm really excited about for totally different artists, and that I do get excited. I can see like, oh, this is going to be good. Sometimes I have no idea the song's going to be as good as it turns out to be, and that's exciting when I hear it on the radio or something. But I do get excited, guys. Yeah, I mean, I get excited when my kids hit home runs at baseball, or, those are the great parts of life. I'm excited every day. So, man, I wouldn't say that I'm just bored with producing. I think I'm gotten used to just coming in here and doing it every day, all day.
When you look forward to the music that you're going to be making, what do you see around the corner? Is there more influence coming from the rest of the world? Is there more? I mean, I know there's a ton of K-pop now everybody's listening to. And
everybody,
like
are you guys listening to K-pop? Because I'm not listening to K-pop. I mean,
yeah, look at
totally
Pete.
into it.
Yeah, no, I think K-pop's just the thing of the, it's the term of the month or the
A thing of the moment.
whatever. Look, and I'm not
Okay.
I'm downplaying K-pop. I'm just saying there's always in my world there's always been something future house, heart. Handbag was a term years ago. There's always some little term coming along. That's just the way people like try to get other people excited about music. It's this new thing that you haven't heard about. It's this Yoko. It's this young country sound. Or, there's always something. Come on.
Yeah.
Remember trap? Remember the first time you heard trap?
Right.
I mean, what's trap? It's like, or
Sure.
dubstep. The first time you heard dubstep, it's like, that's always going to happen. It's just a way of, it's only a thing that's happened in the last couple decades. It didn't happen. It was rock and roll for a long time, right? And there wasn't like hard rock and roll, soft rock and roll. It was just rock and roll. So, it's just this fun thing we have going on.
So does that mean that these things come by and they maybe leave a little bit of a mark, but the locomotive trudges on?
Locomotive trudges on, man. We're so close. I'm so close to it. I don't know how you guys feel. It's hard to tell what our generation is going to leave musically to the next generation. You look back, it's obviously, you see big band, you see 60s and 70s and 80s, 90s. I don't even really know what 2000s is. 2010s. I don't even know what that is. Is there something? I don't even know. If you guys know, you should probably tell me, because
I don't think we will know for another 20 years.
Because the 80s were just, at the time, it was just music.
Yeah,
and it felt the same.
Yeah,
and then now we see what the mark was.
I think that the 2010s, it's shorter, right? Like kids a lot of times don't listen to the whole song, so a 7.5 minute remix has to be played by somebody else for them to consume it. Otherwise, it's just they're almost.
It's about for sure. It's about short pieces of stuff. In fact, my songs are my new pop productions are getting shorter.
Wow.
Yeah, I just did a song. Old Town Road. Let's talk about the song of the moment. How long is Old Town Road? Do you guys know? It's like 2 something.
No.
Wow.
210.
Yeah, that's getting back to the 50s.
Wow.
It's like 210.
Low 2s even.
That's just crazy.
That's short.
Yeah.
It's not crazy. It's actually awesome. You know what it is?
Yeah.
And a young person explained this to me. Because when you play Old Town Road, it's so short, they're going to play it again.
Terrific. That is terrific.
Nice.
It's so short, they're going to play it again.
Yeah.
If it's a long song, you're like, okay, I'm going to take a break. I've heard it. But if you keep it short, they're going to play it again, or it's going to get looped in however you're listening to it. A lot of times it'll repeat it. And it's genius. It's like what the kid thought when he made the song. He's like, no, I want to keep it short, so they'll listen to it again really quick. Don't give them too much.
And I don't think that was a playing into the Spotify model or anything like that. That was just what he was thinking. So I appreciate the purity of that thought.
It's a cool thought, and it's little nuggets like that you get from the young generation that makes you go, wow, I've been doing it wrong all these years. I'm gonna start doing short stuff. They're right, but there's songs that should be short. By the way, that type of song should be short.
Yeah.
It's not like a super deep Titanic type song that you want to hear the whole thing, right?
Yeah, big epic, an opus.
So
before we wrap, I want to make sure I mentioned one of our good friends of the show actually hosting or DJing my girlfriend's 50th birthday party, which is going to be an erasure-based dance party. But his name is DJ Severe. He DJs at Dodger Stadium. And I just got to make sure I say his name, because I'm sure he plays your remixes, because he's widely recognized as the best DJ
for sure.
in the Major League.
That's cool. I was wondering who the DJ was that was doing all the Major League stuff.
He does it for the Dodgers. Every stadium has their own guy, but he's particularly good. And you're good when like the old reporters are complaining about how loud the music is.
When they know that there's a guy playing music, that's when you know you're doing a good job. Yeah.
Hey man, so last thing I want to know is, who are you looking forward to working with?
Who am I looking forward to working with? Oh, man, I can't answer that question, because I just, I'm looking for young talent. I'm developing. I have 3 or 4 artists right now I'm developing. And for me, it's exciting finding these young kids who have super talent, but not sure what to do with it, not sure what to sing about, not sure how to do it, how to record, and taking them and sort of getting them to the next stage. And so I've done that. I've been doing that a lot recently with a girl that was 14, a kid that was 19. I have another kid that's 23. So these young, talented artists are really, really exciting me right now.
Terrific. NAMM next month. Are you speaking at NAMM?
Oh, you mean NAMM
in Nashville? Yeah.
Right now I'm not, because a lot of the people that I work with, Waves, Sound Toys, Plug-in Alliance,
they don't come to the Nashville show?
I don't know if they care about the Nashville. Nashville, they should. I think they should. And maybe that would be my next phone call. Because, I think they still think Nashville is very, country, guitar, based. So there's a lot of guitar people here for that. It's also middle of the summer. But Nashville is the super hot place to visit. I don't know if you guys know that. It's like the place. It's like, forget Vegas. Vegas is fun. Vegas is also expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And Nashville's a lot more green than Vegas is.
Hey, I just have one more thing for you, but I also want you to tell us where it's the best place to listen to to my songs. Is it Spotify or whatever? But any projects potentially coming up with
Me and Robbie Williams?
I think you guys would be an awesome match.
That would be an awesome match. I love Rob. I'm a fan of Robbie's. I never understood why Robbie really
Me too.
didn't get the love here in America. I think it's just, I don't know. It's a shame because he's, as you know, he's ridiculously huge overseas. Yep. So that would.
He's kind of like Paul Weller, where he just
maybe
gets
he
lost
likes it though, because then he can have his place in Hidden Hills and go to Gelson's or Whole Foods and not get recognized. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. And then what about listening to my songs?
I think
what's
just
the best place to support you?
You know what's awesome? I'll tell you about my songs. The way to listen to my songs is old school, dude. Buy the CD. You know why? Because there's a cool booklet in there where Sting wrote his process on every song and how he wrote the song.
Oh, right on.
So
That's awesome.
Cool, I think they made vinyl too. The vinyl should be out now. Vinyl is a big thing for a lot of people right now, but it's pretty cool just to read the story of each song and how he wrote it.
Okay, we'll put a link on the show so you guys, everybody listening, buy the CD or buy vinyl, because where else could you get
and also your comment about that
songs. That's fantastic.
Brings it all back to the fact that Dave Aude has a career because he's gotten the most out of a song while being true to the original composition of the song, the original idea of the song. And this is going back to the original idea of the music experience, where you pop open the liner notes, you read about how the song was crafted. And this is great, man. I'm glad you were a part of it, and I appreciate you coming on the show. Everybody, Dave Aude, check him out.
Guys, thanks for having me.